Have you ever noticed that certain people burst into our lives at crucial moments as if they were deliberately sent to convey a message or assist us in solving problems? What about the feeling of déjà vu we experience when meeting someone new? Have you ever felt as if you had already shared moments with that person somewhere in time, as if your destinies were mysteriously intertwined? In this video, we will dive into Stoic philosophy, which maintains that people do not come into our lives by chance, but each encounter is meant to happen for a specific reason. Now, if you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now, let's start this transformative journey together. As we explore this fascinating perspective, we will open up to a journey of self-knowledge and deeper understanding of the complexities of human relationships. We will delve into the ancient teachings of Stoic philosophers who invite us to reflect on the role of fate and free will in shaping our social interactions. One day, as the elderly monk Jotaka meditated under a blooming cherry tree, a young man named Hiroshi approached and asked respectfully, "Master, sometimes I meet people and feel a positive sensation, as if I had already known them or as if they had a particular affinity with my soul. Other times, however, I experience a negative sensation, as if that person came to hurt me. All this disturbs me and makes me wonder, do they come into our lives by chance?" Jotaka, with his penetrating gaze fixed on the young man, replied, "People never enter our lives by accident, and this truth is deeper than we can imagine. In life, we encounter various people, each with their place and function in our story. Some come and go, others stay and accompany us through different stages of life." Jotaka rose slowly and pointed to the blue sky above them. "Observe the birds, young friend," he said. "They do not fly by chance. They are carried by air currents, just as we are driven by the invisible forces of existence." Hiroshi contemplated the birds soaring through the sky, trying to grasp the depth of the master's wise words. "Imagine your life as a garden," Jotaka added. "Each person who crosses your path is like a seed sown by fate. Some bloom like colorful flowers that last a season, others like mighty trees that endure through the years, but each brings the promise of new growth." Hiroshi nodded slowly, immersing himself in deep reflection as he evoked in his mind the image of the various flowers and trees that had bloomed along his life path, each one as living representations of the encounters and experiences that had marked his journey. "The people who listen to us," Jotaka continued with compassion emanating from the depths of his being, "often become our greatest teachers. They are like sharp stones on our path, carving and shaping our existence with their presence. Despite the pain they may cause, they offer us valuable lessons that help us grow and discover the strength that resides within us." The young monk let his eyelids close slowly, immersing himself in the darkness of his thoughts while reliving the challenges that had sculpted his soul over time. Each experience, each overcome obstacle, had left an indelible mark on his being, shaping his character and forging his path towards wisdom. In the silence that enveloped the room, Jotaka's words resonated like a soft but penetrating echo, reminding Hiroshi of the importance of each encounter, each experience in the fabric of his existence. "And then there are those who appear when we need them most," Jotaka pointed out, indicating towards a majestic tree. "Just as the roots of this tree support us on stormy days, these people back us up in difficult times." Hiroshi recalled someone who had been his refuge during a very delicate period, a solid anchor amidst a storm, a person who later drifted away from his life, although he still wished they were by his side. Finally, Jotaka wisely concluded, "Some stay with us forever, like fixed stars in our sky, bright and constant, the true friends, family members, soulmates. With them, we share the burden of our days and the joy of our successes. The young monk smiled, feeling enveloped in gratitude for the special people he had met and had by his side. Jotaka looked up at the sky, and a subtle light danced in his eyes. Recognize and appreciate each person who crosses your path, young Hiroshi. Each one is an essential part of your story, and you are part of theirs. Life is an intricate network of destinies, and each encounter contributes to the fabric of your existence. With these words, Jotaka led Hiroshi on an introspective journey towards a deeper understanding of the nature of human relationships and the role they play on the path to wisdom and personal fulfillment. Together, immersed in a conversation that transcended time and space, they explored the teachings of Stoic philosophy, finding comfort and guidance in its worldview and approach to life, inspired by Stoic principles of acceptance, virtue, and the recognition of fate. Hiroshi and Jotaka engaged in an enriching dialogue that resonated with the timeless truth of the ancient sages. They reflected on the idea that each encounter, each person who crosses our path, has a defined purpose in the fabric of universal destiny. As the sun set over the horizon and shadows lengthened in the serene monastery garden, Hiroshi found himself flooded with gratitude. Thanks to this fortuitous encounter, he had been brought to the feet of this wise old man, whose wisdom transcended the barriers of time and space. In the company of Jotaka, Hiroshi was preparing to receive lessons that would resonate deeply within his being and guide him in his quest for understanding and spiritual fulfillment. A M line in the palm of your hand. Have you ever noticed that you have specific lines on the palms of your hands, lines that intertwine, branch and intersect like mysterious paths on an ancient map? Have you ever wondered if they have any meaning? You should know that the lines on your palms are not mere random marks. Stoic philosophy also teaches us that we must accept the circumstances we cannot change and focus on what we can control, such as our actions and attitudes. In this story, thanks to Buddhist and Stoic wisdom, we will focus particularly on the sun line and see what it means to have this sign on the palms of your hands. So, if you're ready to embark on a mystical journey between legend and reality in search of your inner peace, follow the video to the end. You will discover the secrets of the sun line, a symbol that has fascinated scholars, researchers, and truth seekers for centuries, and understand how this sign can influence your personality and destiny. It will be a mystical journey between legend and reality that could change your life. There is a monastery among the mountains of Japan that welcomes souls seeking enlightenment and wisdom every day within its austere walls. The old monk Nin, renowned for his profound knowledge, often gathers disciples to share precious teachings. One day, as the sun painted the sky with golden hues and the song of the birds filled the air of the surrounding forest with celestial melodies, Nin invited his students to gather around him. "Dear disciples," he began in a soft voice, "today I will talk to you about an enigmatic line that some of you may have imprinted on the palm of your hand. This line, called the sun line, is shrouded in an aura of mystery that has fascinated and intrigued Buddhist monks for centuries." A murmur of curiosity spread among the disciples, like a gentle wind stirring the leaves of the trees. Each of them carefully examined their hand, trying to identify the mysterious line that might conceal an unexpected destiny. But before we delve into the meaning of this line, Nin continued with an enigmatic smile, "I will tell you the legend of a young monk obsessed with the sun line." The disciples leaned in even closer, captivated by the promise of a fascinating story, and Nin began to recount the tale of the young monk, his obsession with the sun line, and his journey in search of the truth. Tensen was a smart and sensitive child, but tormented by a doubt. He did not have the sun line on the palm of his hand. The master began to relate, convinced that this was a sign of his adverse fate. He isolated himself from the world, locking himself in a cave in the mountains. The disciples listened attentively, imagining Tenzin's sadness and solitude. One day, Nin continued. An old Buddhist master named Kempo went to see him and invited him to follow him. Kempo was a wise and compassionate man with a deep understanding of human nature and the mysteries of the universe. "Why should I follow you?" asked Tenzin with a tired voice. "My life is already marked by bad luck." "What?" He looked at him with understanding eyes. "True luck," he said, "is not found in the lines of your palm, but in the light that emanates from your heart. Follow your light and you will find happiness." Tenzin hesitated, as there was a reason why he had taken refuge in those mountains. Some people had indeed convinced him that not having that specific mark on his hand was an omen of misfortune for him and those around him. But something in Kempo's words moved him. So he decided to follow him and embark on a journey of self-discovery. During their journey, Nin recounted, Kempo taught Tenzin the principles of Buddhism, meditation, and the importance of cultivating compassion, gratitude, and determination. Tenzin began to see the world with new eyes, understanding that true wealth does not lie in material things, but in the inner light that each of us possesses. A curious disciple asked, "And the sun line, Master Nin, what significance does it have in Tenzin's story?" Nin smiled. "The sun line," he explained, "represents the inner light that each of us possesses." Tenzin, initially obsessed with the absence of this line, learned to cultivate his inner light and not to depend on external signs to find happiness. And his story teaches us that true luck is not a matter of destiny, but of a positive attitude and a life lived in harmony with the values that inspire us. The disciples reflected at length on Nin's words and Tenzin's story. The legend of the sun line had ignited a spark in their hearts, and a light of hope grew within them, wishing to explore their own inner light and live a more authentic and meaningful life where there was space for mental well-being. The sun line, also known as the line of the sun, is often associated with a person's inner light, representing their potential, creativity, and ability to stand out in the world, Nin explained. According to palmists, a person with a strong sun line has great potential to develop, while a weak or absent line may suggest an unexpressed potential or the need to cultivate one's inner light. As the disciples became increasingly drawn to their mentor's words, Nin continued discussing two other aspects traditionally related to this sign on the hands. The sun line is related to success in various areas of life, such as career, finances, and personal relationships, he added. A long and straight line may indicate a person destined for success, while a short or irregular line may suggest challenges to overcome to achieve goals. However, it is important to remember that success is not just a matter of destiny, but also of commitment, determination, and positive choices. If we do not commit to meditation, consistency, and perseverance, we cannot expect everything to go well and for our life to move towards success and serenity, continued the monk with conviction. Nin posed a question to another disciple. What are the spiritual implications of this sign on the hands, according to the wisdom of the older monks and studies by some palmistry experts? The disciple responded, "The sun line is associated with spirituality, intuition, and connection to the divine. A deep and curved line may indicate a person with great spiritual sensitivity and deep intuition, and the presence of particular signs along the line, such as crosses or stars, may be interpreted as a sign of a special connection with the spiritual world." After a pause to ensure everyone was paying attention to these concepts, Nin invited them to reflect on the position of the line in their palm. "This line, my dear ones, is present on the palm of your hands," he said. "Do you think it can suggest some traits of your personality and potential?" Once again, a soft murmur filled the room where they were gathered. Each of them meditated on the master's words. "However, the sun line is not an immutable destiny," continued Nin, "but rather an invitation to discover our natural talents and inclinations. It is a symbol that reminds us that each of us possesses a unique and special inner light, ready to shine if it is nourished with passion and dedication." The disciples committed enthusiastically to the practices proposed by Nin, starting to pay more attention to their thoughts. They understood that listening to their emotions and paying attention to their actions, trying to identify the values that guided them and the goals they wanted to achieve, was crucial to living fully. One day, a disciple named Ma approached Nin with a doubtful expression. "Master," she asked, "my sun line is very short and thin. Does that mean I don't have much potential?" Nin looked at her with his eyes full of wisdom. "My dear," he said, "the light of the sun is not measured by the length or width of your line, but by its intensity. Remember that even a small spark can illuminate an entire room. True strength lies in your determination, your compassion, and your will to make a difference in the world." Nin's words touched Ma's heart. The young woman realized that true wealth did not reside in external features, but in the inner light she could cultivate and share with others. Over time, Nin's disciples continued to grow and evolve, inspired by the legend of the sunline and the wisdom of their master. They learned to live in harmony with themselves and the world around them, spreading messages of peace, compassion, and hope. The story of the sunline spread far beyond the walls of the monastery, reaching the hearts of people from all cultures and religions. But what does this story teach us? That true luck is not a matter of destiny or external signs, but of a positive attitude and a life lived in harmony with the values that inspire us. True wealth resides in our mind, in our heart, and in the actions we perform each day. Like the sunline, each of us possesses a unique and special inner light. It is up to us to grow it, nurture it, and share it with the world. Only in this way can we help create a brighter and more hopeful future for everyone. Let's always remember that inner light is our greatest strength. Let's give ourselves space to let it shine. In addition to conveying a universal message, the story of the sunline also invites us to reflect on Stoicism and our individual potential. The position of the sunline in the palm of the hand can be interpreted as a metaphor for our natural talents and inclinations. It challenges us to discover what makes us unique and to pursue it with passion and dedication, in line with Stoic principles of living in accordance with nature and following our inner path rather than conforming to external norms. In a world that constantly bombards us with predefined standards, the story of the sunline reminds us of the importance of Stoicism and how true wealth resides in our authenticity. Only when we embrace our uniqueness and share it with the world, aligned with Stoic values of virtue and wisdom, can we make a difference both for ourselves and for others. So, the next time you look at the palm of your hand, remember the story of the sunline and let its message of hope and inspiration motivate you to cultivate your inner light, because that's where true luck and fulfillment lie, according to the precepts of Stoicism. If you put salt in your sneakers, you might already know the Buddhist custom of putting salt in your shoes and the purpose of this ancient practice that has its roots in the wisdom of the Buddhists and medicine. Salt is known for its countless uses, not only in cooking. You have probably tried several thanks to the suggestions of the elders. It is a formidable ally and, according to the latest research, it is not the worst culprit in increasing blood pressure. Its uses do not end here. Indeed, salt is a precious ingredient even in household cleaning, as it helps to clean and purify. Moreover, in the form of a saline solution, it is a potent disinfectant for wounds and abrasions on the skin, not to mention its uses as an exfoliant, remedy against dandruff, bath salts, and we could continue listing. But few people know that for Buddhists, putting salt in their shoes has a very important meaning both at the spiritual and medical level, and we will see it in the Zen story you will hear shortly, where you will discover 5 reasons why you should also try it. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that advocates the serene acceptance of external events and focusing on what we can control, offers us a lens through which to understand the importance of this Buddhist practice. By putting salt in our shoes, we are practicing the acceptance of external difficulties and maintaining our inner peace, aligned with the Stoic principles of tranquility and mental strength in the face of adversity. It reminds us that, just like in Stoicism, our inner well-being is not determined by external circumstances, but by our attitude and response to them. In the heart of a valley surrounded by the mystical aura of the Japanese mountains was an ancient Buddhist monastery, guardian of ancestral wisdom and a refuge for those seeking inner peace. In this place, where time seemed to have stopped, lived the elderly and revered monk Makoto, whose wisdom and deep understanding of the paths of Buddhism and Eastern medicine shone like the light of a candle in the night. One morning, as the golden rays of the sun filtered through the branches of the trees, Makoto gathered his disciples in the monastery cloister for one of the usual lessons, and with a serene expression, invited them to sit in a circle around him and began to speak with a warm and reassuring voice. "Every step we take on the path of life is a sacred journey," the monk began, "a path that leads us to the knowledge of ourselves and the universe that surrounds us. And just as to face a long and exhausting journey, it is necessary to prepare adequately, so too in our earthly existence we must be ready to face the challenges that await us." The disciples listened ecstatically to their master's words, and when he mentioned the ancient custom of putting salt in their shoes, their minds opened to the wonder of a tradition as ancient as it is mysterious. "This practice," Makoto continued, "has roots that go back to the most distant past, when our ancestors walked through wild and impenetrable lands. In those distant times, salt was not only a condiment to enrich food, but a precious commodity, a symbol of purity and protection." The monk paused momentarily, allowing the words to settle like delicate sand in the minds of his disciples, and then continued, "Now I will explain the 5 main reasons why the practice of putting salt in your shoes is so significant and important for our spiritual path and for our overall health." "First," said Makoto, "salt has the power to absorb moisture just as Buddha absorbed the suffering of the world. When we put salt in our shoes, it helps us keep our steps light and agile. In Buddhist practice, moisture is often associated with the heaviness of worries and suffering that we carry with us on the path of life. Salt acts as an absorbent of these concerns, allowing our steps to remain light and agile as we advance in our quest for inner peace and wisdom." To enhance the meaning of this aspect, Makoto told them the story of an old fisherman who, during a storm, had saved his boat from breaking apart thanks to a bag of salt he had thrown on the deck to absorb the water. "The second reason for putting salt in your shoes," continued Makoto, "is that salt has purifying properties. By assimilating impurities, salt purifies our path, freeing it from harmful influences and spiritual obstacles. Putting salt in our shoes, therefore, is a way of protecting our mind and spirit from the disappointments and temptations of the outside world." To better explain this idea, the monk shared with his disciples the story of a traveler who, during his journey, came across a river infested with evil spirits. Thanks to the salt in his shoes, he was able to cross the river unharmed, protecting his mind and spirit from negative influences. The third reason, continued Makoto, is that salt helps us maintain balance. Just as the mountains surrounding us are symbols of stability and strength, putting salt in our shoes also helps us root ourselves to the earth and remain steadfast in the face of life's storms. The mountains surrounding the monastery represent the image of stability and strength, said the monk. Just as these imposing rock formations remain firm even in the face of the most violent storms, so too must we learn to maintain our internal stability when facing life's challenges. And putting salt in our shoes symbolizes this balance. Salt, in fact, acts as an anchor for our steps, stabilizing them and preventing unwanted falls along our path. When we walk with salted shoes, we feel more solid and rooted to the ground, as if we had a deep connection with the earth itself. This balance affects not only the body, but also the mind and spirit. Therefore, following this practice is an invitation to find the right balance between the different dimensions of our existence, between work and rest, between action and contemplation, between joy and sorrow, between good and evil. To make the concept clearer, Makoto told the story of a young monk who, during a meditation on the banks of a stormy mountain stream, had found perfect balance thanks to the salt he carried with him. As the disciples became more and more engaged with the stories of their spiritual guide, Makoto continued with the fourth reason. Salt also has healing properties. He said that in Eastern medicine, in fact, salt is considered a natural remedy to alleviate pain and tension. Putting salt in your shoes can relieve not only physical discomforts, but also the mental ones we encounter on our spiritual path. To demonstrate this idea, the monk shared with his disciples the story of a farmer who, suffering from an open wound on his foot, had found relief by immersing his foot in a saline solution. Continuing with the fifth reason, Makoto talked about how putting salt in your shoes was a gesture of gratitude. Salt is a precious gift from the earth, and using it consciously reminds us to be grateful for everything life offers us, both the joys and the challenges. The disciples listened to Makoto's words with deep reverence, grasping the wisdom behind that seemingly simple gesture. But the monk had not finished yet. Looking directly into his disciples' eyes, he added, "My dear ones, there is a reason linked to this practice that I wanted to leave for the end due to its importance. Putting salt in our shoes is not only an act of purification and protection, but also a symbol of connection with the teachings of Stoicism, a philosophy that emphasizes the importance of resilience and wisdom in everyday life. By following this ancient practice, we immerse ourselves in Stoic principles that urge us to find strength amid adversities and to recognize our interconnection with humanity throughout time. Every time we deposit a grain of salt in our shoes, we are honoring the lessons of the ancestors and recognizing the courage and perseverance of those who preceded us. This simple gesture thus becomes a tangible reminder of the cultural and spiritual heritage we share with past generations, enriching our understanding of the past and strengthening our resolve to face the challenges of the present. In the context of Stoicism, putting salt in our shoes takes on an even deeper meaning. The Stoics teach that life is full of trials and tribulations, and our response to them determines our true inner strength. By incorporating salt into our daily routine, we are practicing the ability to stand firm in the face of difficulties, thus cultivating the Stoic virtue of resilience. Moreover, by joining the tradition of putting salt in our shoes, we are participating in a ritual rooted in the history of humanity, a practice that has been shared and passed down through the centuries. This connection with the past helps us find a sense of belonging and continuity in a world that often seems changing and disconcerting. Finally, by reflecting on the act of putting salt in our shoes, We can find inspiration in Stoic teachings on the importance of living with integrity and accepting what we cannot change. By recognizing our connection with past generations, we can learn to embrace our destiny with serenity and confidence, following the example of the Stoics who came before us and found strength in adversity. In summary, putting salt in our shoes is much more than a simple gesture. It is a reminder of our cultural heritage, a practice rooted in Stoic philosophy, and an expression of our connection with humanity throughout time. Placing salt in the corners of your home. The practice of placing coarse salt in the corners of the house serves not only a physical purpose, but also seeks to harmonize the environment and protect the home from negative energies. This gesture, rooted in Buddhist wisdom transmitted by monks and healers over the centuries, has profound symbolic and spiritual implications that deserve deeper exploration. Salt, recognized for its purifying capacity, becomes a shield against harmful influences when strategically placed in the corners of the house. It's not just about maintaining the physical cleanliness of the space, but also about creating an environment conducive to spiritual and emotional growth. In Stoicism, a philosophy that advocates for virtue, self-discipline, and acceptance of what cannot be changed, the practice of placing salt in the corners of the house takes on additional meaning. It is interpreted as an act of virtue and self-mastery, where we take proactive measures to protect our environment and promote a positive atmosphere in which serenity and harmony can flourish. Moreover, this practice invites us to reflect on the importance of maintaining calm and composure in the face of adversities. By protecting our home from negative energies, we also strengthen our own resilience and ability to face challenges with balance and serenity, fundamental values in Stoic philosophy. In a quiet Buddhist monastery hidden in the Japanese mountains, the wise elder monk Ki shared stories of deep wisdom with his devoted disciples. Dear disciples, there is an ancient practice that may seem simple, but it has deep roots in Buddhist wisdom and significant symbolic and spiritual implications, continued the monk. Placing coarse salt in the corners of your home may seem like a trivial gesture, but you have to see what happens when you do it. It's like planting the seed of change and watching it bloom. A young monk raised an eyebrow, skeptical. He used to doubt this practice, he admitted, but now he wondered what would happen if he did it. You should know that salt has been valued throughout the centuries, considered more than just a spice. It was traded like gold, and many believed it possessed magical properties, Kai explained. But why put salt in the corners of the house? Asked another young nun. Because salt is not just about making food taste better, replied Hiroshi, another monk. It has a much deeper story. And so monk Hiroshi embarked on a narrative that unfolded through ancient cultures and civilizations, from the ancient Egypt of the pharaohs to Gandhi's India, from the region of Normandy to Bavaria, from Judaism to Buddhism. He explained how salt had been considered a protective amulet, a symbol of an unbreakable life, a means of purification and harmonization. It's more than meets the eye, said Hiroshi. It's a bridge between us and the universe, a key to our connection with nature and with ourselves. His disciples absorbed the wise monk's words, reflecting on the meaning behind such a simple gesture as placing salt in the corners of their home. And so they began to understand that even the smallest actions can lead to significant changes when they are intrinsically connected to wisdom and awareness. Every practice has a beginning, Hiroshi began, and the practice of using salt as a tool for purification and transformation has its roots in the past, intertwined with the stories of wise monks and ordinary people. The disciples leaned in eagerly to discover the secrets that Hiroshi was about to reveal. In the Buddhist tradition, he continued in a calm tone, salt is considered a protective amulet, capable of repelling negative energies and purifying the space it occupies. A young nun raised her hand, eager to learn more. "But how did this practice begin?" she asked curiously. Hiroshi smiled, accepting the question. In ancient times, it was believed that corners were places where stagnant energies could accumulate, creating an imbalance in the home's environment, he explained. And by placing salt in these points, an energy barrier was created that repelled negative influences. The disciples' eyes shone with interest as Hiroshi continued his narration. As Hiroshi spoke, the disciples found themselves transported to a world of ancient beliefs, superstitions, and traditional wisdom, and began to understand that the simple act of placing salt in the corners of the house was an act of protection and harmonization with the universe. But the power of this element is not limited to protection, continued Hiroshi, his eyes glowing with wisdom. Salt also has the ability to transform stagnant energies into positivity and create an environment that fosters personal growth and emotional well-being. The disciples listened attentively, fascinated by the wise monk's words. The wise monk's words resonated in the minds of his disciples, who increasingly understood the concept of using salt as a tool for purification and transformation. Hiroshi, with a serene and confident expression, continued to share his deep knowledge about this humble yet powerful element. Salt, he explained, not only has culinary value, but also possesses physical and symbolic properties. Over the centuries, it has been considered a divine gift, a symbol of purification and protection against dark forces. He showed his disciples a variety of salts collected from different parts of the world, from raw sea salt to pink Himalayan salt crystals, each with its unique vibration. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself, and I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write "mind over body," so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. But how can we fully harness the power of salt in our lives? Asked one of the monks, eager to apply what he was learning. Hiroshi responded with a smile, emphasizing the importance of intention and conscious practice. He showed them a simple yet powerful method to purify and protect the home environment using the energy of the moon as a catalyst. The disciples watched in amazement as the salt absorbed the moon's silvery light, radiating an aura of tranquility and power. This salt, Hiroshi explained, can be used to create a protective circle around the home or to purify indoor spaces. With an elegant gesture, he scattered the salt around the perimeter of the monastery's courtyard, tracing an invisible circle of protection. But the power of salt is not limited to external protection, Hiroshi continued. It can also be used to purify and harmonize internal spaces, creating an environment that promotes spiritual growth and well-being. With that, he guided the disciples inside the monastery, where he instructed them in a series of practices involving salt to purify and harmonize the internal spaces. Each gesture was performed with awareness and intention, as the disciples learned to connect with the power of salt and use it to transform the energies around them. Hiroshi led them through practices that involved absorbing moisture in the monastery walls and using salt as a natural air purifier to combat bad odors in domestic environments. Stoicism, a philosophy that advocates for virtue, self-discipline, and acceptance of what cannot be changed, finds profound resonance in the use of salt as a tool to maintain spiritual and emotional balance in our lives. Stoics teach that we should cultivate an attitude of serenity and acceptance in the face of life's challenges, and the practice of using salt as a purifying and protective agent can be seen as an exercise in virtue and self-mastery. In Stoic philosophy, the importance of maintaining calm and serenity in the face of adversity is emphasized, as well as accepting what cannot be changed. By using salt to purify and protect our environment, we are exercising our ability to control our own lives and cultivating the virtue of prudence and moderation. Furthermore, the practice of using salt as a tool to maintain spiritual and emotional balance also invites us to reflect on the transient nature of emotions and negative energies. Just as salt absorbs and dissipates negative energies in our physical environment, we can learn to let go of negative emotions and find inner serenity through the practice of Stoicism. In summary, the connection between Stoicism and the use of salt as a tool to maintain spiritual and emotional balance in our lives is undeniable. By adopting a Stoic attitude of serenity and acceptance, and using salt as a purifying and protective agent, we can cultivate virtue and self-discipline in our lives, thus finding inner peace and harmony amidst life's vicissitudes. Write down the number 888 on a piece of paper and keep it under your pillow. Have you ever heard about the meaning of the number 888 and its spiritual significance? For many, this number represents an angelic symbol, a gateway to fortune and prosperity. Indeed, in all religions, the number 888 is linked to spirituality and the divine that resides in each of us. It is said that if you write the number on a piece of paper and place it under your pillow, you can transform your life. In this way, you can attract prosperity, serenity, and inner peace. But how does this really work? It's interesting to explore this question from the perspective of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that advocates for virtue, self-discipline, and acceptance of what cannot be changed. From this perspective, the number 888 could be interpreted as a reminder that, although we cannot control all aspects of our life, we can influence it through our actions and attitudes. In Stoicism, the importance of cultivating inner serenity and mental strength to face life's challenges with equanimity and determination is emphasized. Placing the number 888 under the pillow could be considered an act of affirming our intention to seek prosperity and inner peace, as well as a reminder that we must remain open to the opportunities that life presents. Moreover, from the perspective of Stoicism, the practice of placing the number 888 under the pillow could also be interpreted as an exercise in visualization and mental focus. By focusing on this number before sleeping, we are training our mind to be more receptive to positive energies and opportunities for personal growth that may arise. The sun lazily sank into the horizon, painting the sky with fiery hues that danced over the rocks like tongues of flame. The old and wise monk Po was about to reveal something unique to his disciples around the crackling fire. Kaido's disciples awaited the monk's words eagerly, knowing that once again their mentor would surprise them with extraordinary revelations. Kaido, with his calm and persuasive voice, began to narrate an ancient story, one capable of opening minds and leaving a deep mark on the hearts of each of them. In the midst of time, the monk began, a mystical number emerged from the depths of the universe, 888. Since then, its energy permeates creation, bringing abundance, prosperity, and balance like a vigorous river that nourishes life. The monk leaned over, picking up a small sheet of paper as white as snow. With precise and delicate gestures, he traced the number 888 in golden ink. His fluid calligraphy, like a mountain waterfall, seemed to leave a mark in the minds of the disciples. This symbol, he explained in a soft voice, contains an ancestral force capable of attracting positivity to your life. Think of this number as a talisman that brings good luck, a bridge that connects heaven and earth, a portal that will take you to a world of wonders. The disciples listened in silence, captivated by the Master's words. Their eyes shone with curiosity and hope, like stars lighting up in the night sky. 888 is more than just a number, continued Kaido, with his voice laden with wisdom. It is a key that opens the door to the unlimited potential of the universe, and consequently, to the unlimited potential that resides within each of us. It's like a magical portal that leads us to a world of wonders. One of the younger disciples, eager to learn more, asked, "Master Kaido, how can this number open the doors of prosperity and peace for us?" The monk, looking at everyone with a broad smile, invited them to write the number 888 on a sheet of white paper using golden or red ink, symbols of prosperity and luck. Then, the sheet was to be placed under the pillow before going to sleep. "As you sleep," Kaido whispered firmly, "your mind will open like a flower to the sun, and the energy of 888 will flow through you, purifying your spirit and preparing you to receive new gifts from the universe. It will be like a rain of blessings falling on thirsty land." The disciples nodded, and with hearts full of hope and the sheet with the number 888 in their hands, they headed to their rooms. The ritual Kaido had spoken about had deeply affected them, and they couldn't wait to carry it out with all the confidence and faith they were capable of. In the quiet of the night, the disciples retired to their rooms, lulled by the song of night birds and the whisper of the leaves. The paper with the number 888 rested under their pillows like a precious talisman, emanating a subtle and vibrant energy. And that night, something very strange happened. Everyone dreamed something, and the dreams became vivid and colorful, full of symbols and mysterious messages to interpret and use as maps for their happiness. Upon waking, the disciples felt transformed, as if a fresh breeze had swept the clouds from their minds. A feeling of renewed energy and deep inner peace permeated their being, like a wave of positivity that enveloped and intoxicated them. In the following days, surprising events began to manifest in their lives. New opportunities knocked on their doors like flowers blooming at dawn. Unexpected encounters illuminated their path like lighthouses in the night, indicating the route. Fortuitous coincidences led them towards the realization of their dearest dreams, like shooting stars, granting wishes. The disciples, astonished and happy about these events and this transformation, went to thank Kaido and asked for more information about the number 888. The wise monk, with a benevolent smile, invited them to sit around a fire that crackled brightly, like a throbbing heart that united them under the same roof. 888 is an angelic number, Kaido explained, his voice vibrant with wisdom. It is a message sent by our spiritual guardians, a precious gift that infuses our lives with hope, love, and protection. Kaido continued, "In Buddhism, the number 0 represents the Noble Eightfold Path, or the path that leads to enlightenment, and 888 is seen as a symbol of spiritual perfection and awakening, a symbol that should be respected and thanks to which one can find their way in life." A disciple asked, "Master Kaido, is it true that this number is also important in other religions?" The monk, smiling, replied that in the Christian tradition, the number 888 is associated with Jesus Christ, because in Greek, the name Jesus has the same numerical value, and for this reason, it is seen as a symbol of redemption, salvation, and eternal life. Kaido told stories of angels and spiritual guides who, through this number, had offered their help to people in difficulty. He talked about how this number was present in prophetic dreams, sudden intuitions, and surprising synchronicities, like an invisible thread weaving the fabric of our destiny. 888 is a symbol of balance and harmony, continued Kaido, like a bridge connecting heaven and earth. This number helps us find the right balance between our spiritual aspirations and our material needs. It is an invitation to live a life full of meaning, where external prosperity is accompanied by inner growth, giving us emotional balance and mental well-being. As the disciples listened intently, and their hearts were grateful for the wisdom Kaido imparted, the monk taught them to meditate on the number 888. When thinking of this number, my dear ones, visualize how a golden light flows through your body and purifies your soul, and pay attention to the signs and synchronicities that manifest in your life, recognizing them as messages from the universe guiding you towards your destiny. From that day on, the disciples continued to practice the ritual of the number 888 and meditated on it regularly. Their life became a journey of discovery and joy, where each day was a new chapter in a wonderful story. Numbers danced before their eyes like notes of celestial music, inviting them to follow the rhythm of the universe and their lives. Despite the challenges and trials they were subjected to, they continued in the name of trust, faith, and perseverance. Challenges we face in life are like the stones we find on our path. They challenge us, teach us lessons, and help us build the strength needed to move forward. As Kaido, the wise monk, taught, every obstacle is an opportunity for growth, another stone on the path of our existence. In Stoicism, a philosophy that embraces adversity as an opportunity to strengthen character and cultivate virtue, we are urged to face challenges with courage and determination, without fear of failure. Do not be afraid to fall, Kaido would tell his disciples, because it is only by falling that you learn to rise. This Stoic teaching reminds us of the importance of resilience and the ability to recover in the face of difficulties. Every stumble is an opportunity to learn and grow, to strengthen our determination and continue advancing toward our goals. And so, with these words of wisdom and encouragement, Kaido reminded his disciples that the number 888 is always present as a beacon of hope and protection in their lives. They just need to open their hearts to feel its energy, to connect with the inner strength that will guide them through challenges and toward a future full of possibilities. In their daily meditations, the disciples found comfort and strength in the practice of the number 888, remembering the Stoic teachings they had been imparted. For them, the number 888 became a constant reminder of the importance of facing adversity with courage and finding the balance between inner strength and serenity in the face of life's challenges. And so, with each passing day, they moved a little closer to their own path toward fulfillment and completeness. You wake up between 3 and 5 in the morning. How often do you experience waking up between 3 and 5 a.m.? Have you ever felt intrigued or restless when this happens? Together, we will explore the mysteries surrounding these moments and how they can become a valuable opportunity for both personal and spiritual growth. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night with silence enveloping your room and your mind full of questions. Why does this happen? Does it have any meaning beyond being a mere random event? These questions lead us to seek deeper answers about our sleep patterns and our connection with the universe. At the heart of this investigation lies the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us to face life's challenges with calm and serenity. Stoics believed in living in accordance with nature and accepting what cannot be changed, even sleep patterns that might seem disturbing at first glance. By exploring our nocturnal awakenings from this perspective, we can learn to embrace uncertainty and find meaning in every experience, even those that disrupt our sleep. In Stoicism, we find the idea that self-knowledge is fundamental to personal fulfillment. Waking up in the middle of the night provides us with the opportunity to reflect on our deepest thoughts, emotions, and concerns. By observing these moments of wakefulness with mindfulness, we can discover hidden aspects of ourselves and work on their development. So, the next time you find yourself awake between 3 and 5 a.m., instead of feeling frustrated or worried, Take a moment to breathe deeply and reflect on what this moment may be trying to teach you. There may be a hidden message waiting to be discovered, a lesson that will take you a step closer to your true self and your path toward personal fulfillment. In an ancient Buddhist monastery located among the mountains of Tibet lived the monk Kiro, famous for his vast wisdom. His lessons on awareness and compassion were recognized worldwide, and disciples came from afar to learn from his teachings. One evening, as the twilight painted the sky in shades of red and gold, Kiro gathered his disciples in the main hall to answer a question that had been asked several times. Why do some people wake up most nights between 3 and 5 while others do not? "Dear disciples," began Kiro in a calm voice, "today we will explore nocturnal awakenings and their connection to Eastern medicine and Buddhist wisdom." In Eastern medicine, Kiro continued, it is believed that nocturnal awakenings are related to the body's energy meridians and their influences on us. He explained how each waking hour is associated with a particular organ or body system, and how Eastern medicine views these awakenings as signs of energetic or emotional imbalance that require attention and care. For example, said Kiro, waking up between 3 and 5 a.m. is associated with the lungs and the emotions of sadness. This could indicate the need to address and heal deep emotional wounds, thereby allowing our vital energy to flow freely. The disciples nodded, reflecting on their master's words and trying to apply them to their own experience. "Master," asked one of them, "how can we interpret nocturnal awakenings in the light of Buddhist wisdom?" Kiro smiled, recognizing his students' profound curiosity. "In Buddhism," he replied, "every moment of the day is an opportunity to practice mindfulness and compassion. Nocturnal awakenings offer us a unique window to explore our mental and emotional states without the distractions we have during the day." Kiro shared stories of ancient Buddhist masters who, through meditation and contemplation, had transformed their nocturnal awakenings into opportunities to deepen their understanding of the mind and human soul. "Remember," added Kiro, "that each nocturnal awakening is an opportunity to grow, learn, and connect with the deepest part of ourselves. Cherish these moments of awareness, for they are precious gifts on the path to spiritual fulfillment. But now let's look in detail at which areas of life are affected by nocturnal awakenings so that you can better analyze yourself and others. Stress and anxiety accumulated during the day can manifest as nocturnal awakenings between 3 and 5 a.m. This is because during these hours the human body is naturally predisposed to release spikes of cortisol, the stress hormone. If these levels are already high due to daily worries, it is likely that you will experience nocturnal awakenings. In such cases, practices such as meditation, deep breathing, and muscle relaxation can help reduce stress and promote deeper sleep. My suggestion, therefore, is to get used to meditating for at least 10 minutes before going to sleep. This way, you'll prepare yourself to sleep more peacefully. Awakenings at these hours are associated with the lungs in Chinese medicine and with sadness according to Eastern psychology. This could indicate the presence of repressed or unprocessed emotions such as pain, loss, or loneliness. Facing and accepting these emotions is crucial for inner healing. Practicing mindfulness, exploring emotions through writing or therapy, can help you understand and integrate these emotional experiences. If you have suffered negative experiences of this kind, I recommend that you work on yourself to process them and find inner peace and emotional balance. Looking into the eyes of his disciples, Kiro continued his lesson. In Eastern spiritual tradition, the early hours of the morning are considered a privileged time for connection with the divine and for spiritual practice. During this period of tranquility and silence, it is easier to lose oneself in meditation, prayer, or deep contemplation. Consider that many people wake up at these hours because their deeper selves seek to connect with the divine, explained Kiro. Waking up specifically between 3 and 5 a.m. is an opportunity to experience greater spiritual presence and awareness, opening the door to new insights and realizations. These nocturnal awakenings, Kiro continued, can also be interpreted as signs of an internal transformation and personal growth process. During these hours, the subconscious may be more active, bringing to the surface hidden emotions, thoughts, and desires. This can be a moment to deeply explore your psyche and identify what changes or transformations are necessary to live a more authentic and meaningful life. However, some nocturnal awakenings can be caused by physical disorders such as acid reflux, insomnia, or sleep apnea. These disorders can disrupt sleep and cause frequent awakenings during these hours. Eastern medicine suggests several remedies for these conditions. However, if you believe you might have such problems, consult a doctor to identify and treat the underlying cause of these physical issues. Eradicating these problems at the root allows you to improve sleep quality and promote overall emotional and general well-being. As the disciples continued listening intently to the monk's words, Kiro introduced another important aspect. The period from 3 to 5 a.m., he said, is considered a time when the unconscious can communicate important messages through dreams and awakenings. This theory is suggested by both ancient wisdom and the analytical psychology of Carl Gustav Jung. These messages can be symbolic or intuitive, providing valuable insights into our inner lives, relationships, or challenges we face. Keeping a dream journal or practicing meditation before sleep can help capture and interpret these subconscious messages. If you write them down immediately the next day, you will have the opportunity to remember them and use them in your growth process. Another reason why some of us wake up at these hours, according to Eastern tradition, is linked to the natural rhythms of the universe. The early morning hours are considered a time when vital energy is concentrated and flows more freely. Waking up during this time may indicate an alignment with these natural cycles, or a need to adapt to them to promote health and well-being. Practices such as yoga, tai chi, or meditation can help harmonize the body, mind, and spirit with the rhythms of nature. So, my dear ones, go practice them. A disciple asked, "Master, should we be concerned if we frequently wake up at these hours?" "My dear ones," said the monk, "I would view these awakenings as a precious opportunity to explore the depths of our mind, our spirit, and even our body. If an awakening suggests a physical problem, we will know we need to take care of it. If it suggests a spiritual meaning, we will know we have to work on it. Remember, through Eastern wisdom and sincere compassion, learn to welcome these moments as precious gifts on the journey of life. Each nocturnal awakening is an invitation to greater awareness and understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Therefore, instead of resisting or ignoring these awakenings, we can welcome them with kindness and openness, allowing our path towards spiritual realization. The best thing you can do is create a space of tranquility and reflection before going to sleep, allowing your mind and body to relax completely. Practicing activities such as meditation, deep breathing, or reading inspirational texts in line with the fundamental precepts of Stoicism can not only contribute to a more restful and deep sleep, but also cultivate a resilient and balanced mindset. Meditation, for example, is a powerful tool recommended by the Stoics to cultivate inner tranquility and the ability to accept circumstances as they are. Through regular practice of meditation, you can strengthen your mind and spirit, preparing yourself to face daily challenges with serenity and find peace amidst adversity. Likewise, deep breathing, a common practice in Stoicism, can be an effective means to calm the mind and body before sleep. By focusing on your breath and taking deep, conscious breaths, you can reduce stress and anxiety, thus facilitating the transition to a state of relaxation that favors restorative sleep. On the other hand, reading inspirational texts aligned with Stoic principles can nourish your mind with timeless wisdom and uplifting perspectives. The writings of philosophers such as Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius offer profound teachings on how to face life's challenges with serenity and wisdom. By immersing yourself in these readings before sleep, you can nourish your spirit with ideas that foster inner peace and self-transcendence. When you wake up between 3 and 5 a.m., instead of seeing it as a disruption of sleep, consider this phenomenon as an opportunity to deepen your self-knowledge and spiritual connection. During these quiet and silent hours, you can dedicate time to reflection, contemplation, and exploration of your inner world. From the perspective of Stoicism, each nocturnal awakening can be seen as an invitation to practice virtue, introspection, and personal growth, thus strengthening your path toward a fuller and more meaningful life. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day.